Welcome to the channel. Pretty much, I'm starting a brand new channel that goes over solving technical problems when it comes to computers, as well as the computers themselves, dealing with the components and software that pretty much come with a computer and that you need in order to operate a computer efficiently. Today, we're just going to start with the basics, which is weekly tech deals, things that you could see, components that you would need in order to build a computer, both as a average consumer as well as a budget oriented consumer. So, two price points to hit. Um, Both are pretty reasonable. I focused on AMD for both builds because AMD pretty much has the best price to performance ratio right now. Obviously, if you go with NVIDIA, you'll have better performance on the graphics side. But if you're focusing on overall build for productivity, um, work, school, as well as gaming and content creation, AMD is kind of the sweet spot when it comes to that. So, without further ado, the average build is what I'm going to focus on first. Pretty much everything is based off of the AM5 platform. So to start off, I have the Ryzen 5 9600X here on Newegg. And what you're going to see is most of the things that I choose are from either Amazon or Newegg because they're just easy to, piece parts together and to pretty much have decent deals when it comes to the tech that you're buying. So if you're a new builder, definitely look at Newegg and Amazon. Newegg specifically for the bundles, Amazon specifically for their random deals on their prime days as well as their weekend deals. So the Ryzen 5 9600X is a productivity champion. It doesn't take too much wattage at 65 watts. Obviously, it goes past that when put in the system, but 65 watt TDP, AM5, it's the future. It's what's going to be updated from now until probably past 2030, if at 2030. AMD is pretty good when it comes to supporting their platform. In specific, AM4 is still somewhat being supported. So, yeah, AMD is pretty good with that. So, 9600X is right at the echelon of being um, the newer age processor that can pretty much do everything you can throw at it. Um, Next is going to be the cooler. Now, if you saw with the 9600X, you get a free 240 millimeter Elite Liquid AIO, but really with a build you want to have a 360 uh, if you're trying to go with the best performance possible. And that's with the Arctic Liquid Freezer. Um, $98 versus 144. You can't really beat that type of cut down for what you're getting. So just stick with that. If you don't like the ARGB, just turn it off. But yeah, pretty solid when it comes to that option. The motherboard, I went with a white build ish. White build ish. So you're looking at the Strix B650. The only issue with this is it's PCIe Gen 4. Again, with AM5, you can go PCIe Gen 5, and with the graphics card that you'll see in a moment, you won't be able to utilize it to its fullest potential, but you're not really missing out on too much performance if you go with PCIe Gen 4 motherboard. But it works. The I/O on it is pretty solid. Multiple USB Cs, BIOS flashback button, um, integrated display options, and Wi-Fi. You can't beat that, especially not for 169. 23% off is pretty solid. Next is storage. Storage is hit or miss when it comes to people because some people uh, just want something to something to store pictures and videos. Some people just want to play games on it. Some people just want something that's decently fast. With this is decently fast. It's not going to knock your socks off, but it's a solid option. You're looking at $69 for a terabyte, not bad. And then you're looking at $129 for 2 terabytes. Again, not bad. You can find better, but Samsung 990 Evos are amazing, and then the Evo Pluses are just the added benefit of having PCIe Gen 5 speed. Okay, and we're going into RAM. DDR5 is hit or miss, but Team Group never misses. Team Group is the RAM to go with when it comes to DDR5. Consistent, high praise for most people who get them. RGB if you want it, you can turn it off if you don't. XMP and Expo compatible memory, so it works for Intel and AMD based systems and motherboards. 32 gigs of RAM is what you want. If you go past it, that's fine, but just stick with 16 gig DIMMs and you won't have any issues there. And the last bits here, you got 9070 XT graphics card, overkill, especially for a average consumer. This might be a little bit too high up, but I'm just looking at price range going from 769 to 699. Again, MSRP on these cards are ridiculous, and none of them are meeting their price points. But when you see something that's pretty decent, you got to go with it. I've had FS. I can't pronounce that thing right to save my life, but I've had this brand of graphics card before. It was with a lower end 6750, but solid performer. No real issues with heat. Dual BIOS mode, so if you mess something up, you can switch it. You can't really complain too much. And last but not least, the case. I went with the NZXT H9 Flow. Again, with the white build, kind of like the white and black look. You have room for 320 rad, a 360 rad, I'm sorry. Extra fans, a lot of intakes and exhausts. You won't have any issues there. Again, 164 to 99. You can't beat that price. So, yep, that is the average build. Again, maybe a little bit above average, especially when it comes to the graphics card, but it's an average build for most people when they want to spend around $1,500, $1,600. You'll be able to get a solid performer. When it comes to the budget build, I went old, but good. You may not like it, but I like it. So you have the Ryzen 5 5500. It is not the most performant gaming card, but it is a solid workhorse productivity card for the price point. You can't really beat the price that you're getting this CPU for when it comes to compute. It's where it should be. You can't really complain too much. Your system will run fine. Games will run fine. You're not going to run everything at max 4K. It's going to be a 1080p gaming system, and that's fine. This works no problem. Then we come into the cooler. You can stick with the stock cooler, but if you want to upgrade it to something a little bit better, I've also purchased one of these for a cooler of similar performance, which was a 3700X, Ryzen 7 3700X. I paired it with this. This cooler is fine. It works. It's not flashy, but it'll keep your CPU cool, and that's all you need it. When it comes to the motherboard, again, you're limited with AM4, but Gigabyte makes a pretty decent offering. 4 RAM slots, 2 PCIe. Well, actually, really 3 PCIe ports, but the X1, you can't really do much with it. So it's a 16X or X16, X4, X1. That's not bad. Comes with Wi-Fi, has everything that you need in order to utilize the PC, 2 NVMe slots. Perfect. And if you see here, the reason I chose that combo of motherboard and CPU is because they have a combo deal with Newegg where you get both of them for 128 instead of 87 and 105. You get it for 128. Can't beat that deal. Again, going from 191 or 192 to 129, you can't beat that. When it comes to the storage, I went cheap again. King Spec not bad, but not great. $54, 1 terabyte. It does what you need it to do. Gen 4 drive, so you won't lose any speed. It's not fast anyway, but it can utilize all the bandwidth that is available. And last bits here is going to be the RAM. You're dealing with DDR4 because it's an AM4 platform. DDR4 should be cheap. Obviously, it's old. $70 for 32 gigabytes of RAM. It's about as best you're gonna get. Nothing fancy. It gets the job done. Decent ratings. It'll work. Graphics card again, not the greatest, but it's solid. 16 gigabytes of VRAM will hold you over fine for games. 9060 XT is pretty solid when it comes to performance as well. Compares with the 3060, not 3060, the 5060, excuse me, the 5060 Ti, no issues. Um, it's a little bit slower than the 5060 Ti, but not by much and not by every game. Some games is actually faster, as well as compute is fine displaying multiple displays. You can only do three. I don't know why they only chose three when it can easily do four, but they chose three, so it can only do three displays. So two HDMI's, one display port on this one in particular, but that's fine. It's a budget build. It gets the job done. And last but not least is the case. So with the case, because again, budget, you want to go with something that already has fans in it and is easily um, upgradable. So it gives you enough space to put a bigger graphics card in it if you want to. I wouldn't because of the power supply shroud, but it can be upgraded if you need it to be. Um, but it's a micro ATX case and it works. It looks good. It has fans. It's basic, but it gets the job done. So, yep, those are the two builds that I did. Pretty much the average build and the budget build that most people should be going after. Again, this is for the week of September 19th of 2025. Um, that's the best I could find. If you found something that was a little bit better, leave it in the comments. Let me know what I hit on, what I missed on, what you like, what you dislike about the build, and general improvements for my video style and my selection. So thank you and have a good one.